The need of an oral teaching. A man who reads about the doctrines of the Jodo without receiving oral instruction will miss the thing really necessary to the attainment of Ojo. Men of high station such as Nagarjuna and Vasubandhu, and on the other hand, men of the lowest rank of common latter-day sinners, guilty of the 10 evil deeds and the 5 deadly sins, used to be the object of the Buddha Shakya's exhortations to enter the land of perfect bliss. Now, we common men of the lowest class, when we hear the Buddha exhorting good men, at once begin to deprecate ourselves and to think that we cannot be born into the Pure Land. And so we actually, by our doubts, prevent ourselves from reaching that birth after death. The main thing, then, is that we clearly distinguish between the teaching intended for the good and that applicable to the evil, like ourselves. If we are so minded, our faith in the certainty of our own birth will become assured, and through the power of the Buddha's original vow, we shall accomplish our birth into that land at death. Simple invocation of the name. There is no secret about calling upon the sacred name except that we put our heart into the act, in the conviction that we shall be born into the land of perfect bliss. Save me, Amida Buddha. We must not think that the expression Namo Amida Butsu means anything but simply, "Save me, O Amida Buddha." So then, let us pray in our hearts, "Save me, O Amida," and say with our lips, "Namo Amida Butsu." The vilest may be saved. While believing that even a man guilty of the 10 evil deeds and the 5 deadly sins may be born into the Pure Land, let us, as far as we are concerned, not commit even the smallest sins. If this is true of the wicked, how much more of the good? We ought to continue the practice of the Nembutsu uninterruptedly, in the belief that 10 repetitions, or even 1, will not be in vain. If this is true of merely 1 repetition, how much more of many? Faith and works go hand in hand. If a man says he can be born by 10 repetitions of the sacred name, or even 1, and then begins to be careless about the practice, his faith will hinder his practice. On the other hand, if a man says, as Zendo did, that he unceasingly repeats the Nembutsu, but in his heart has doubts about the certainty of Ojo, in the case of one who only practices it once, then his practice will hinder his faith. So then, believe that you can attain Ojo by 1 repetition, and yet go on practicing it your whole life long. If you think there is uncertainty as to the efficacy of calling upon the sacred name once, it means that there is doubt about it every time you call upon the sacred name. The Buddha's vow was to give birth into the Pure Land to those who would call upon his name even once. And so there is efficacy in every repetition of the sacred name.